Are you looking to play your wildcard in Game Week 8? Or maybe you just want to see what the best team in FPL looks like right now? Well, I've got you covered with this wildcard draft. All right, so we'll start off with the defenders then. And I wanted to take a look at a couple sources of data in order to help pick the defense for this wildcard draft, right? What we've got here is the performance of the best defenses basically in the league, ranked by actual goals conceded and expected goals conceded. So it's a rank basically of the most frugal. I think frugal is the right word to use. Most frugal defenses in the league in terms of goals conceded. Liverpool have only conceded 2 goals. So statistically this season, they are the best defence. However, I would say they've had a pretty good start to the season in terms of their fixture quality. They've had probably the best start to the season of any team in terms of, poor teams that they're facing. Arsenal in second place. Arsenal across the last 2 seasons in the Premier League have conceded the fewest goals. And I think given Liverpool's really strong start to the season in terms of fixtures, Arsenal will kind of level off with Liverpool over this run. And I think don't really see many clean sheets for Liverpool basically, but I do see some for Arsenal. Nottingham Forest as well are ranked 3rd for goals conceded. Those are the 3 teams I really wanted to focus on there. I've got a projection here from Elevenify of clean sheet odds. So what this is a ranking of all 20 teams in the Premier League according to the Elevenify clean sheet model of the total clean sheets these teams are expected to keep. Number 1, Arsenal. Number 2 is Man City. 3 is Liverpool. 4 is Man United. 5 Brentford. 6 Spurs. And 7 Nottingham Forest. So defences, quality of defences so far, projections going forwards, keep those top teams in mind. And then the most attacking defenders in the league. So what I've done here is ranked all of the defenders in the Premier League by expected goal involvement. Number 1 is Trent. Number 2, Leif Davis. You've got Gabriel, Collins, Porro, Aït-Nouri, Robertson, Romero, Sugawara of Southampton, Guardiola and Milenkovic of Nottingham Forest. So I've rattled through them quite quickly. But I think that's everything you kind of need to know to pick defenders. So what we've got there is teams that have been the best defensively so far this season, a projection of teams' likelihoods to keep clean sheets, and then also the most attacking defenders in the league so far this season. I think all of those things considered, bear all that in mind. That will justify basically my wildcard picks. So then, the starting back 4, goalkeeper and 3 defenders. I've gone for Onana in goal. Believe it or not, I actually think he's going to finish as the top goalkeeper in the game this season. I do think Man United... Well, I'll go back to what I think actually makes a good goalkeeper in FPL first, I guess. For me, a good goalkeeper or the best goalkeepers in FPL are ones that keep like an average amount of clean sheets, but they make consistent saves. And I think Onana ticks that box and some. And then we go back to the clean sheet odds as well. They're the 4th best team in the league for expected clean sheets in game weeks coming up. I think their fixtures turn to be really good. And yeah, I do back them to keep some clean sheets. They think they've kept 4 from the 7 games they've played so far. So despite all the abuse and stick Man United have been getting, they've still kept 4 clean sheets from 7 games. That's more than 50% of the time. So I think that's pretty good. Gabriel is, in my opinion, the best Arsenal defender. So it makes sense to go with him. He might actually be due a price fall, which is a bit shocking. But I would go for Gabriel. Not only does he provide, the Arsenal defensive quality, but he also provides a real goal threat from set pieces. I think literally every game I see him play, he's got a chance of scoring. He has a really good goal scoring chance from a corner that one of Saka or Rice has taken. Rico Lewis, I think, is the best for me, the best Man City defender in the game. I think he's, the one you compare him with probably, I think, is Guardiola. And ultimately, you might disagree with me, but I think their expected minutes very similar. And when the 2 of them are playing in the team together, Lewis is the one that is the attacking fullback. And he's 4.7 million, so a whole 1.2 million cheaper than Guardiola. So I think you may as well go for him instead of Guardiola. And then I really like Milenkovic. So we go back to those Forest goals conceded. They're the 3rd best team in the league for goals conceded. And then ranking defenders by attacking output, expected goal involvements, Milenkovic is amongst the top. There aren't really many budget defenders that are ahead of him, particularly centre-backs. He just offers so much goal threat from set pieces. Forest have got good fixtures coming up. They're a really frugal defence at 4.5 million, and he's a bit of a differential. I think if you're on your wildcard, he's a really good option. So that's the defence, and I didn't want to go through too many stats in data to pick the midfielders because I think it's actually quite easy. In my opinion anyway, it was quite easy to pick 4 midfielders. The one thing I did want to talk about is whether you want to go for Salah or maybe diversify is probably the wrong word, but spread the funds a bit more evenly. So Salah at 12.7 million is he's put up 5.4 expected goal involvement so far this season and 0.8 expected goal involvements per 90, right? Saka and Palmer are Palmer's 1.9 million cheaper, Saka is over 2 million cheaper than Salah. They are both putting up better expected goal involvements per 90 than Mo Salah. The only reason I would personally pick Mo Salah in an FPL team is if I saw a potential to use the captaincy on him. But I don't really see that at the moment. I've actually got him in my team, and I don't think it's worth using a transfer to get rid of him. But if I was on my wildcard, I don't think I'd have him. For me, I think the combination of Palmer and Saka, and then maybe downgrading elsewhere compared to my team, I guess, is better than having Salah, particularly if you don't fancy Salah to be a captain in future game weeks. So that leads me on to the midfield that I've picked. So yeah, I've gone for Palmer and Saka. I know Saka is flagged at the moment in FPL, but Lee Carsley, the England manager, said he would have been fit to play the second game of their international break. I've actually forgotten who England played in their second game. But Lee Carsley said he would have been fit to play that game, but he didn't think it would have been fair to start Saka. So that suggests to me, I think he's going to be fit, ready to go for Game Week 8. And I'd actually suggest, I think the Fantasy Football Hub predicted points there have factored in that sort of starting minutes doubt. You know, Palmer's got 6.6 expected points versus Liverpool, whereas Bournemouth away, Saka's got 5.6. I think that points total should be a bit higher. So the expected points total for this team is slightly under-egged, I think, just with Saka's minutes doubt. And for me personally, I think Saka's going to play. Alongside Saka and Palmer, Bryan Mbeumo, I think, has to be in this team. You know, he is by far and away the best sort of cheaper midfielder, in my opinion. On penalties, free kicks, in fantastic form for Brentford. Plays 90 minutes every game. They got good fixtures coming up. I mean, I know I'm backed Man United to keep some clean sheets, but you wouldn't rule out Bryan Mbeumo and Brentford scoring against Man United, right? And then Morgan Rogers, for me, is my pick of the cheap midfielders. I just think the fixtures coming up for him are really nice. He's looked really, really good for Villa. Yeah, I think he's a great option. So yeah, midfield 4 of Palmer, Saka, Mbeumo and Rogers. I haven't really got any stats or data to back up my forwards, but I think they kind of speak for themselves. I think you have to have Erling Haaland in your team, particularly if you don't have Salah, because you're going to want to stick the captaincy armband on him, I think, pretty much every week. Wolves, Southampton at home, and Bournemouth in his next 3. I'd actually suggest that Southampton at home fixture is a genuine triple captaincy opportunity. Chris Wood, I'm pretty sure in his last, I think it's 27 Premier League games, he scored 17 goals. You might correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the stat. It's either 17 or 14. And if you extrapolate that up to a full season of 38 games, that's more than 20 goals. So I think Chris Wood is a fantastic option at FPL, and he's my favourite at this cheap price point. I'm pretty sure he's on penalties. He took a penalty, I believe, when Morgan Gibbs-White was on the pitch. So he's the confirmed Nottingham Forest penalty taker. And the next 3 fixtures he's got look really, really good. Crystal Palace have been shipping goals. So have Leicester. West Ham have not looked all that good. I think he looks like a really good option for the next 3. And then I also really like Solanke. I'm a little bit concerned that this team doesn't quite have enough Spurs coverage. I don't think I just couldn't squeeze a Spurs player in that midfield, basically. Johnson and Maddison are perfectly respectable options, but I don't think I could justify picking them over the other players I've got in this team. So I went for Solanke. I think Spurs look pretty good at the moment from an attacking perspective. Solanke is doing really well in terms of underlying numbers. I think he's putting up very similar underlying numbers at the moment to the likes of Palmer and Saka for 7.6 million, by the way. And similar to Chris Wood, those next 3 fixtures I think are really good. West Ham, Crystal Palace and Villa. Villa, yes, they have kept 2 consecutive clean sheets against Bayern Munich and Man United. But before that, I don't think they'd kept a Premier League clean sheet for a calendar year, an entire calendar year. So, you know, I would say from an attacking perspective, Villa is a good fixture for a team. And that's the starting 11 for this wildcard draft. And then just to summarise, so the bench, I've gone for Voldy-Marson, the Brentford backup keeper. I mean, you could have any of the 4 million goalkeepers. None of them are going to start. I went for Dibbling, Greaves and Ait-Nouri as my bench players. I think Dibbling is the best sort of budget midfielder to have on your bench. Greaves, probably the best super cheap defender. He's just going to play every game for Ipswich. And I think Ipswich are probably the best of the promoted teams. And the 4 million defenders basically all come from promoted teams. So, yeah, I went for Greaves. If you need to save a bit of cash, you could go cheaper. And I went for Ait-Nouri as well. I wouldn't start him for Game Week 8 against Man City, but with his attacking output and the quality of fixtures he has after that, I'd suggest he's a starting option. But I'd probably bench him for game week 8. This team, according to Fantasy Football Hub, which by the way, all of the expected points data here that you see comes from Fantasy Football Hub. If you want to sign up to Fantasy Football Hub, I'll get you a discount below. There's a link in the description. They give it a 97% AI rating. For game week 8, if you captain Erling Haaland, it gets 65.8 expected points with a team value of 100.4 million. Now, I think pretty much everyone watching this video will have enough cash in the bank to build this team. If you don't, there are some easy ways I would suggest to save some cash. You could drop Onana to a 4.5 million goalkeeper. You could drop Chris Wood maybe to someone like Raul Jimenez, although I think I'd prefer to drop Onana than Chris Wood. Greaves, you could save 0.1 million there by just going for a 4. And if you really wanted to, you could scrimp and save on 8 Nori and go for a budget defender as well. But I do really think this team is affordable to everyone. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of that team. I personally think that's the best wildcard draft money can buy. Alright, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. If you did, please leave me a like rating. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you think of that team. Are there any players I missed? Any players that I should get in or players that I've wrongly put in? I'd be interested to know in the comments. I think that's everything. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more content from me and you haven't already, I think 75% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel. So I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. A little bit of a goal of mine. I'm not desperate for it, but if I could reach 10,000 subscribers by Christmas, that would be wonderful. So you can subscribe to the Goal to Goal channel. It should be just there on your screen. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video.